My pranams to you and to you all, dear devotees. I'm actually with the Lalita Priya Mataji in the van. Let me do the setting. So there's no echo. Yeah. Prabhu, आपका phone में, if you can connect on your phone, let's see if it comes. We're traveling to Sadhusanga days, so we're together. Yes. Okay, we will go ahead. I think it's not coming. Here, but we were looking to see. Okay, no problem. We'll go ahead. Yeah, you could try and I'll continue. Yes. So, yes, pranams to you. Mataji, pranams to you. Mine to you all, dear devotees. Online, on site. And thank you for serving Gaura Katha, dear devotees. Thank you. As you were reading, we are all hearing here in the van. Gaura Katha ki jai. Gaura Chandra is Gaura Chandra is not generally upset, but yeah, he's sometimes. Nityanandaram is never upset. Gauranga is generally upset, especially when he hears something against any devotee, or any devotee, Laukika, Gramikata, or Vaishnava Dushana. These are the things that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is upset. Resounders. Thank you so much. Yeah, now I can focus better. So that's Gaura Chandra. Yeah, he's generally upset when there is Vaishnava Dushana or Gramya Kada, because these two things disturbs his bhajan in the meditation of the Lord. They don't go well with the bhajan of the Lord. Vaishnava Dushana, Gramya Kada. They are the obstacles in the meditation, in the loving meditation of the Lord. And when we say Vaishnava Dushana, it could be, this is the example, when there was Rai Ramananda's brother, who was sentenced to death, and I can't recall his name. Bhavananda Rai or somebody. Bhavananda Rai's father, Rai Ramananda's brother, was there. So he was about to be thrown on the swords. What is his name, dear devotees? I can't recall. Gopinath Patnaik. Patnaik. Okay. So there, in that incident, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he somehow inspired as Paramatma in the heart of one of those government officials. So that Patnaik was saved. So the devotee was saved from that material condition. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes back to Gambhira, then Kashi Mishra, he brings up this again to Mahaprabhu. In Patnaik, and something like he did not really accumulate the funds, but somebody else has conspired. So there was complaint going on. So about that. So it was generally it can be seen as a irregular casual talk. That devotee did not do anything, but he was given punishment. But does he really take the funds of government? He would not do that, right? So that's what Kasi Mishra was speaking. But for Gaurachandra, anything that other than the Krishna bhajan is really gramya. The funds, government funds, for whatever reason they might have taken, all that conversation. He saved the devotee. Somehow he saved the devotee as a Paramatma inspiring and sending the message to, through the government official. Devotee saving to hua. But rest of these things is not really palatable to any discussions, words on about. These things are not palatable to Gaurachandra. He says to Kasi Mishra, if you continue to speak this incident, if the conversation goes on, if you continue to speak, I will leave this place. I will go to Alalnath. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And then Kasi Mishra stops. He doesn't bring that incident anymore. He doesn't talk anything. He was just trying to say that, Patnaik is a surrendered devotee. He was trying his best as a devotee, Kasi Mishra. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets upset, he does only one thing. He just leaves the place and doesn't say anything. That's the most it could come to. Of course, he brings in the chakra, where in that Jagai Mada incident when Nityananda Prabhu was hurt. When the devotee is hurt like that, he brings the chakra. When the devotee Dushana happens, Dushana can't recall anything where there was Dushana in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he does not like it at all. But Gramya Kada also, he doesn't like. He just leaves the place like that. And here, a sannyasi. Sannyasi's place is really a sacred place, actually. It's not that it is a higher position, respectable position, and everybody bows down. It's not an institutional hierarchy position. That's not how it is seen, actually. Sannyasi means one who has given manasa, vacha, karma to Bhagavan completely. Completely the servant of the Lord inside out. So when the rest of the orders in the Varnashrama, a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, Grihastha, a Vanaprastha, when they're bowing down to a sannyasi, they're bowing down not because one is head of the institution or up in the hierarchy, not because of that. They're bowing down to a Bhagavata who is serving Bhagavan, whose Bhagavata's life and soul is Bhagavan. Means Bhagavata is so pure that there is only Bhagavan inside. That's why all the jivas bow down to a sannyasi. That is the place. So that's why the whole society blindly believes a sannyasi, because a sannyasi and acharya is equal to Bhagavan. That's how the Vedic knowledge presents a sannyasi, a renunciant with no Vishaya Vasana, but only with Bhagavat Vasana, Bhagavat Seva Vasana. That standard has to be maintained. So much so that the scriptures say, if even they have a thought of Vishaya Vasana, if a sannyasi has a thought of Vishaya Vasana, they should end their life. We may think, why the scriptures are so hard? Because the scriptures are talking about Paramartha, Paramartha Vastu, not the Bhautika, not the social start conception from a bodily, social, or moral position. Say, so if something like that is heard, a sannyasi should just jump in Ganges, even if there is Vishayavasana in the head, even in the thought. Why like that? Because the whole society are placing their blind faith. It's called blind faith because blind faith is this actually. Blind faith is Karishye Vachanam Tava. It's not exactly blind. It is bowing down to the sacredness of the divine. So that is bowing down to the sacredness of the divine. That's what the scriptures are prescribing in regards to a sannyasi. It means that person has to uphold that sanctity and purity. And if that sanctity and purity is not maintained, then they have to be honest about it and step down. Don't be a sannyasa. Step down. So rest of the society, their faith in Bhagavan, their sacred emotions for the sanctity of a person and Bhagavan, they are preserved and they need to be preserved. They need to be preserved. So in this case, it's not about a person who is jumping in the Ganges and giving up their life. It's only one life that is going away. And that is for good. We see that, things like that, jumping in the Ganges, ending the life. We see them, when that happens, that as a suicide, how we don't encourage suicide. We are just having a vision of this world, a bodily vision of this, just simply physical vision of the scriptures. But when the scriptures are saying, jump in the Ganges, even with the thought of a Vishayavasana in sannyasa, if a sannyasi is doing that, when a sannyasi is doing that, even if the sannyasi is jumping in the Ganges because of the Vishayavasana, what happens to that sannyasi? What happens to the soul after jumping into the Ganges? He will have such a life after quitting that sannyasi body. For the repentance he had, he is totally purified and he would be gone back home, back to Godhead. So what is it that is happening with the jiva when these actions are taken, when the instructions are performed? That is more important. What is happening to the consciousness of the jiva? That is Paramartha Darshana. It's not about what is happening to the body, what is happening to the mind, what is happening to the society, is the moral conduct followed? No, that's not the case. That shouldn't be the case when there is Paramartha Darshana. And only then the Leelas of Bhagavan like Rasa Leela, Vastrapaharana Leela, all those can be understood only when there is Paramartha Darshana. So like that. So that's why Chaitanya Chandra, he did it what he has to do in his place. As a sannyasi, he has to set that standard himself and see that kind of standard maintains in his presence. It has to be done. And so the Chota Haridas, he gave up his body, jumping into the confluence, the Prayaga Tirtha. And then what happened to Chota Haridas Thakura? He is eternally with Gaurachandra. He continued glorifying Gaurachandra. The body is not there, physical body is not there, but he joyfully, wonderfully continued to chant the glories of Gaurachandra. Same. So this is the thing. When Bhagavan establishes something, when Bhagavan does something, it is all about the Paramartha Darshana. If a jiva tries to understanding from a different, in any other platform, they will not be able to get it. So it is like that. And to know, it is already said, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are already liberated souls. But Chaitanya Chandra, he has to show what is the standard, why it is to be followed, and what happens when somebody follows the standard, and everything should be looked into from a Paramartha Darshana. Chaitanya Chandra has to show this to all. And Haridasa Thakura is in complete submission to Chaitanya Chandra's will. So he did what he is supposed to do, jump in Prayaga. And then he continued his service like that. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is a PhD. It's a PhD one. So that's the pastime here with Chota Haridas Thakura. And Gaurachandra did what he had to do, and Chota Haridasa remained in his glorious position, regardless of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu's, when he banished him from his presence, and then he tried. Of course, rest of the associates, Nityananda Ram and rest of the associates, they tried to engage him in some seva. But one who has tasted the seva of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chota Haridas Thakur, knowing that he has caused some pain to Chaitanya Chandra, that he could not take it. He could not remain far from Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So that's why he gave up the physical body. So this is the role of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to set a standard like this. And the devotees around, Nityananda Ram, he never takes an offense. So Shri Guru doesn't take any offense. That's why the screening has to be done by Shri Guru, and then Shri Guru presents a soul to Gaurachandra. Like that. And one more thing is aparadha. See, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this, we tend to see aparadha as something, a fearful situation, and the punishment, something, an action taken again, an action taken for that aparadha as punishment. We tend to think like that. That is an understanding in the mode of passion and ignorance. Aparadha is not that, we get tight about it and then we lose sleep over that. We have to understand aparadha, there is something that is blocking us from assisting Srimati Radharani in service to Lord Krsna. That tendency has to go away. So the Lord is arranging everything in a way that the tendency can go away. For each devotee, it is different. each situation, it is different. So when the challenges are coming, they're not exactly challenges. Everything about a devotee who is surrendered to Bhagavan and who knows Bhagavan is not only supreme controller, but our best friend. And it's the caring hands that are carrying and arranging everything. Then we know, or a challenge in life, they're all simply to remove any obstacles that are there between us and Bhagavan in loving seva. That we should understand, even if it is for any devotee. Chota Haridasa Thakura is an eternal associate. And the other extension of this story is Chota Haridasa Thakura. What did he do? The explanation I have heard in one of the kathas is Madhavi Devi, she's an elderly lady. So Chota Haridasa Thakura, he brought the rice from Madhavi Devi, but on the way from that place to Gambira, he saw a woman. And for a split of second, his thought was the aparadha. That is, that diversion has blocked him from the continuous loving bhajan of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. That was his aparadha. And he's in a sannyasi dress, sannyasi vastra. That Sri Chaitanya Chandra knew because he's Antaryami. He is sitting as Paramatma in the heart. And that's why the whole pastime has happened in that way. So these are the different aspects of the pastime, dear devotees. So what we have heard is about what is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not like? Vaishnava Dushana, Gramya Katha. And he wants to keep the sanctity of this Krishna bhajan, pure devotional service. He wants to establish that, maintain that standard, and he would do whatever is required for that. That we heard. And so those three things, no Vaishnava Bhushana, no Gramya Katha, no compromise in maintaining the sanctity of the Shuddha bhajan, like that. And the second point was the scriptures are speaking about Paramartha Darshana, especially the devotional scriptures. And they cannot be understood otherwise. They cannot be understood from a aparavichar. They can be understood only with paravichar, Paramartha Darshana. And the third one is the details of this Leela, that all the associates are eternal associates of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya's associates are eternal. And next one was Chota Haridasa Thakura played his role. He's still glorious, but he's an associate and he had to play this role. Like Arjuna, he was put in illusion, but he's still glorious and he had to play his role in Kurukshetra, like that. So Chota Haridasa Thakura, he played his role and he still remained glorious. That's why we cannot draw conclusions on any of the associates of the Lord, not even Ramachandra Puri. He played his role and he's glorious, like that. Yeah, I think, that's all then. Dear devotees. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all, please. Yes, Mataji, and thank you. Thank you, and thank you all, dear devotees. Thank you, Mataji. That's it.
Thank you, Mataji. When I heard this pastime 2 years ago, when we had not started Chaitanya Charitamrit,
Mataji, sorry, I just increased the volume. I couldn't hear what you said. Can you repeat?
Yes, Mataji. I was saying that when I had heard this pastimes before we started Chaitanya Charitamrita reading together, and I was very scared to hear the pastimes. And but today with the mercy, it came to my attention that everything is auspicious when Gaurachandra is there. Everything is auspicious in bhakti, even if it looks, not so good, or even if it looks aparadha. So beautifully you explained. Aparadha means whatever is coming for us to go close to Srimati Radharani in the service of the Lord. So thank you for that, Mataji, and thank you for explaining all the aspect of this pastimes and how we should take it. Very grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dear
And
devotee.
one more thing is this, Vaishnava etiquette is our beautiful rescue. So there are no blocks in offering our seva. There is no offense that goes to any jiva. So beautiful one hai. So these are all there in place to very lovingly assist us, help us to get us closer in the loving service to the divine couple. Everything in bhakti is just for that purpose. So we want to embrace all of them with this understanding. Fear ki zarurat kuch bhi nahi. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, anyone else has any point? Please go ahead. If not, should we go ahead with the
Yes.
की शयने की
बोझने की बजा करने
Haridasa
Krishna
Balaha Vadane Yadi Ama Pratniha
Tabe Sabha Para
Tabe Krishna Vyatirikta Nagai
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Yes, ma'am.
Shri Chaitanya Amrit ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das